Welcome to the playoff edition of the 2-minute drill. A little different format today. We're going to go over every game in the Mid-Valley Division. We're actually going to try to spend about a minute and a half on each game. This is going to be fun. It's going to be fast. Aram Talegian to my left, Steve Ramirez to my right. And let's start with the #1 seed, Sierra Canyon, hosting our Almont. Almont, the team that at the beginning of the year, Aram thought was going to have a pretty sensational year. They're an at-large team. This game will be at Crespi Friday, 7:30. Aram, any shot at all?
I mean, why are you rubbing this in my face that I was high on Almont? They made the playoffs.
Okay, right, at large.
Come on,
I think you had them as a Tribune top 10 team at the beginning of the year,
I don't think I put them in there.
Okay, you might have had them at 11.
Yeah, but they finished 5-5.
Yeah.
They've got Roy Barajas. They've got Dominguez at quarterback. They've got Joel Sanchez. You know they're going to make this fun. You know, at least the trip, you know, the bus ride.
Yeah, that's going to be the best part, because Sierra Canyon, not only undefeated, they've played some decent teams. They handled Paraclete with ease. This is a 40-50 point game.
It's looking like Sierra Canyon's on like a way another level, and when we get the new playoff system, Freddie, I would see this Sierra Canyon team moving up several divisions, so not going to happen here for Almont.
Okay, moving, Steve?
No, I mean, the prediction by Cal Preps is 62-8.
Yeah,
I mean, the way
I'm taking the over.
Yeah, the way Almont gets played, you know, when
the way they give up points, I'm taking the over.
Yeah, I mean,
the only thing that's going to stop that from being over is Sierra Canyon stopping it themselves. Let's move on real quick. We're going to talk about every game in this division. Schurr at Baldwin Park. Baldwin Park, the Montabello League champion. Schurr, the Almont League runner-up. You know, Baldwin Park for me. They started slow. They came on really strong. I think they won their last 7 games. You know, part of that was being in the Montview League. I think now we're going to find out how good they really are. They have that win over Covina, probably their signature win of the year. Aram, who do you like?
We definitely are going to find out how good they are, because I tell you what, Schurr's tougher than anything Baldwin Park faced in the Montview League. Those are just the bare basic facts.
True.
You know, you're not going to find a huge talent gap on this field. This is a very good neighborhood football team.
Yeah, it is.
You know, Schurr's win over Bell Gardens kind of speaks volumes. I mean, I know Bell Gardens didn't make it in, but they were a 6-4 team. I like this Schurr program.
You taking Schurr?
I am. I'm going to pick Schurr in a mild upset.
Oh, what's the Cal Preps prediction?
It's 24-21 BP.
Wow.
So it's a close game. It trends as a close game. Even though I really like what Baldwin Park has done this year under James Higgins, I just really think that Schurr is better than anything that BP played in the Montview. And in a close game, they've been in some this year. They got that win over BG in overtime. You know, you look at their non-league schedule, Freddie, they played some really good teams in the non-league. Bonita, San Marino, Diamond Ranch. Give me Schurr.
Yeah, I mean, this might be one of the better games in the first
looks like the closest one on paper. Maybe.
And Schurr, even though they started out slow because of that tough schedule they played, they really caught fire in the Almont League. And like Aram said, they beat a halfway decent Bell Gardens team. You know, they won their last 4. So they play great defense. 3 of those were shutouts.
Yeah. You got Schurr?
Yeah, I got Schurr in a very.
You guys have Schurr.
I'm not sure the score is going to be that high.
Are you sure?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, I'm just going to see if you're sure.
14-13.
I got Baldwin Park winning this game by 3 points, and the winner gets the right to go play Sierra Canyon and go out in the second round. So there you go. Moving on. I like this game. Rosemead, the Mission Valley League runner-up at Valley Vista League champion Northview, Friday 7 o'clock at the District. Aram, Northview is one of those teams I think can go deep.
I've said this already. You know, I'm worried about Rosemead's psyche. This happened to them 2 years ago when they lost at home in Week 10 to Arroyo for the league championship. They got bounced really bad by Pomona the next week in the playoffs. There's another chance that this happens here. This team really took that loss last week hard, Freddie. I was on their sideline at the end of the game. If they don't learn from that, you know, what happened 2 years ago situation, they don't learn from that, and they don't find a way to bounce back and pick themselves up off the mat, because it was a very emotional game and they lost it to Arroyo, they're in big trouble, because Northview's going to score some more. Rosemead's going to really need its offense to keep up here. Again, I'll say this. Northview has, you know, I mean, outside of Sierra Canyon, they got to have the best skill talent in the league, in the division.
Yeah.
So give me Northview and by about 20.
Yeah, I mean, this is the 3rd time that these 2 teams have played in the past year to year and a half. Northview has kind of handled them. The first game this year was somewhat close.
37-24.
Yeah, but Northview just has their number. I think Northview is just a better team than Rosemead, and I think they win this game and maybe a little bit going away.
Okay, the winner of that game will play the winner of this.
What's your pick?
I've got Northview. I've got Northview winning it. Same. I'm sorry. Yeah, you're right. I have them by about 3 touchdowns too, Aram. I really think they're going to handle them. Moving on, bottom of the bracket. Your defending champion, Pomona, the team really that I think they've been disrespected most of this year. I mean, they're the Miramonte League champion. They're going to host Brentwood, a Gold Coast team, a team from that Sierra Canyon Paraclete League. I think Pomona is kind of one of those teams that feel like nobody's talking about them right now, and they're saying, hey, we're the defending champs. You got to go through us.
Yeah, I mean, there are only 2 losses this year to Oak Hills and to Villa Park. Villa Park is 10-0. Oak Hills is 5-5.
They played a decent schedule.
Yeah, but Oak Hills, they were a 10-3 team last year. So I mean, look, it's hard to gauge Pomona against that league.
They're not as good as last year. I mean, that's
sure,
true. That's fine. But they're good still.
Yeah, but one thing that does stand out is that they're very, very capable of scoring a lot of points. They're averaging 43 this season. I think Brentwood's in big trouble here, athlete to athlete wise. I think this is a blowout.
Steve?
Yeah, I saw Brentwood last year in the first round against Northview, and Northview handled them pretty good. And so Pomona, like I said, they're not as good as last year, but they're still pretty good. And I think they handle Brentwood.
Well, you just convinced me, Steve. I didn't know that fact that you just threw out. I was already leaning towards Pomona. Now I'm guaranteeing a Pomona victory in round 1. Okay, bottom half of the bracket. Viewpoint, another Gold Coast at-large at Montabello, the Almont League champion. Montabello's been a good team from start to finish, Steve. They're a team who owns a win over Northview, that I think 35-34 game earlier in the season. Let's start with you, Stevie.
Yeah, I saw Montabello last week. Their top player, Montabello, is out for the year since their Paraclete game, but they've gone to Ryan Rivera, their quarterback, who's looked really good. He runs the ball well. He throws it well. I just think they have too much for Viewpoint.
Yeah, I mean, you look at Viewpoint. This is a school of 465 kids, Freddie.
Yeah.
You wonder about
Oaks Christian has 300, but who cares? Go
I
ahead.
understand, but this isn't that. You wonder about the drop off in the Gold Coast when you go from Paraclete and Sierra Canyon down to Viewpoint and Brentwood.
Yeah.
You wonder how far these teams are behind.
Right.
This team beat La Puente this year 27-20. Excuse me. They beat them 65-19.
They beat La Puente 65-19?
Yeah,
that's a dangerous score.
Yeah, and that was at Viewpoint. So that could give you a little perspective that maybe they keep this close. But I like this Montabello defense. I think they're gonna put the clamps on Viewpoint in this spot. I know they don't have Montabello, but I certainly think they have more than enough with Rivera at QB to get through the first round. Yeah,
I like Montabello too. I think not having Montabello is going to hurt them down the line in terms of how deep can they go. But
this game could be interesting.
You just threw out that score, and they've obviously played some pretty good teams, but probably a better schedule than Montabello has. When you look at just having to play Paraclete and Sierra Canyon. What was the Sierra Canyon score? What did they lose to them by? You have that right there?
I know they gave up 73, I do.
Oh,
they gave up 73 to Paraclete.
Oh, wow.
And the Sierra Canyon, it was 59-13.
Okay, I like Montabello then. Let's move on. The winner of that game is going to play. This is a fun first round game. Covina at Mission Valley League champion Arroyo. This game is Friday at 7 o'clock. A very, very tough game to call, Aram. Who do you like here?
Very tough game to call is right. And, I tell you, both of these teams, I said it on Sunday, they really have to love these draws that they got here. For Arroyo to get an at-large team as a league champ, that was nice. For Covina to not to have to play Sierra Canyon or Paraclete, which an at-large team could have had to play. For them to get Arroyo, a doable, San Gabriel Valley league champion, that's great for Covina. This one looks close. It looks back and forth to me. I favor Arroyo in this spot. I like their toughness. If somebody can stop Humberto Pantoja, the quarterback, then you're going to have a shot against them. But you look at Arroyo, I mean, Freddie, look at the 2 losses they have this year. They gave San Marino its second best game of the year, a 39-point loss. And the other loss is to Montabello.
Yeah,
when they had Mendebliss. Give me Arroyo. They can score. They can play defense.
I hate to say it. I really see the Mission Valley League going 0-3 in the first round. I think they're the worst league in the division. Although Arroyo and Rosemead they're good teams. I just don't see it. I like Covina. And I like it in an extremely close game, but that's one of those games in the first round when I was making my picks this week. I had a hunch there, and I'm going to stay with Covina.
This is a lot of fun, this game.
Yeah, this is going to be a tight game. I'm kind of leaning towards Covina too. I'm just thinking they might just have a little bit more, and if they can find that magic they had against Claremont.
Great point.
And at-large teams aren't true at-large teams. These are basically third-place teams because only the top two make the playoffs. So. Good game. Who do you guys got? I got Covina. You both got Arroyo?
I got Covina.
Two Covinas, one Arroyo. Here we go. 2 games left. Basset at San Dimas. Basset, Miramonte League 2, 7-3 at San Dimas. What do you think, boys? This is a 7 o'clock game.
These are 2 teams that are going to try and lean on each other. They know no other way, really. You can't do that against San Dimas unless you're, the New York Giants or something. And so in that case, if it's a battle of grinders and a battle of teams that are going to fight for, 3 yards in a cloud of dust, then I'm picking the Saints. They have a lot of experience on this roster as far as the postseason and big games. Basset doesn't. I love the way Jarrell Sykes is playing towards the end of the year. That offense is going right now. San Dimas is going to be a tough out
in
this division. So I've got San Dimas winning this game rather easily.
I covered the San Dimas Covina game, and they handled Covina rather easily. And I talked to Coach Holman afterward, and they are really, they're I hate to use the term firing all cylinders. It's been used so much, but that's where they are right now. I mean, you mentioned Sykes. He looked good. Their defense looked really stingy against Covina, and their team, Aram. As we move on, I picked them to go in the finals and upset Paraclete in the next round. I really did. Those two teams have some history, but I like them beating Basset. And although Bassett's really improved, San Dimas is going to handle them pretty easily, I think.
Yeah, I saw San Dimas against Cal High earlier, and they really played very well in the second half. And I got the feeling that if they could put it a whole game together, they could be like the old San Dimas we know, where they just blow teams out.
Yeah.
Before halftime, and I think that's what we might have here.
Very good. Yes, all of us San Dimas. Last game, not a lot to say. Azusa, Montview number 2, has to go to Paraclete. That game's at Antelope Valley College. Much like the Almont game, Aram, you probably have the same thoughts. 30, 40, 50-point game, basically a long bus ride for Azusa. Enjoy being in the playoffs.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, congrats to them for, their only 4 wins of the season.
When you think of how they started, 0-6, that's a nice reward.
Only 4 wins of the season came in league, and that was good enough to punch them, second place and get in here and be back in the playoffs. This is a coaching staff, led by Joe Schurr, that has a lot of playoff experience. But, traveling to Paraclete on a Friday night in November when it could be a little cold.
You want to cover that game, Aram?
No, I don't.
Okay. All right.
No, it's,
I know what your prediction is, Stevie. I don't even know if we have to go there. This is all 3 of us, Azusa. We're running long. Our 2-minute drill. But we spent about 2 minutes in each team. That was great. So, guys, there you go. Your Mid-Valley first round is in the books. Any final thoughts? All right. We'll move on to the next one.